YouTube family and friends, it's your girl Lady London, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys one of the easiest banana pudding recipes. Look. So first things first, you guys, you will need a box of vanilla wafers, a box of vanilla jello, a half a cup of water, a can of sweetened condensed milk, and a pint of whipping cream. You'll also need about 4 to 5 bananas that are very ripe, honey. You don't want to get no real fresh bananas. You want your bananas to be ripe and soft, okay? And you'll also need a baking dish like the one I have in my hand. If you want to use an aluminum pan, that'll work good too. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding in my sweetened condensed milk first. Honey, when I tell you sweetened condensed milk is so sweet, y'all, it can go good with anything, with snow cones, cakes, puddings. Ooh, it's so sweet, honey. Next, you're going to take your half cup of cold water, honey, and put it in your can of sweet and condensed milk, and go ahead and give it a good stir so we can get that excess sweet and condensed milk from around the can. I know that some people just take their water and they just pour it directly into the mixing bowl, but why not pour it into the can and get the excess sweet and condensed milk so we can make our pudding real sweet. And then I'm just adding in the jello, and I want to let you guys know that you don't have to get a jello box this big. If you are the type of person to where you like your banana pudding a little less sweet, I recommend you go with the smaller box of jello. You don't have to get the box this big. So the next thing that I'm doing here in the video is I'm just mixing the pudding together now that I have added in everything. And y'all, when I tell you it looks so pretty, it was so yellow and creamy. I set it in the refrigerator and I let it cool down, and then I added my whipped cream into a different mixing bowl. And when I do my banana pudding, I love my banana pudding to be kind of thick. I don't like a real creamy banana pudding. So when I pour in my whipped cream, I mix it for a long time so it can get that real thick texture like whipped cream that I like. Now, I'm going to warn you, if you're the type of person that you don't like your banana pudding to be real thick and creamy, do not mix your whipped cream, or your heavy whipping cream rather, for a long time. But this is how it turned out, y'all. And next, what you're going to do is you're going to take your pudding that you let sit in the refrigerator and get cool, and you're going to put that pudding inside of the mixing bowl with your heavy whipping cream. And I'm going to show you guys how to mix your pudding in with your heavy whipping cream. There's a certain mixing method to it, to where it's like you'll take your cake spreader and you'll have to turn it over and over and over, or flip it over and over. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do that. And then after this, honey, we're going to lay down our bananas and our cookies, and we're going to start the latest spread out. Okay, do you hear me? So now that I am finished cutting up my bananas, I'm going to go ahead and take a layer of pudding and put it on the bottom of my baking dish. The reason why we go ahead and put a layer on the bottom is so our bananas and our cookies won't start sliding all over the place. They can stay stuck down on top of that layer of pudding. And I want to let you guys know that it's okay if you make a mess, honey, because we're going to put down more layers of pudding on top of our bananas and our cookies. So it's fine if you make a little mess. And the way I start off is I either do one row of bananas, one row of cookies, one row of bananas, one row of cookies, and continue on until that whole row is full. Now, when you start on your second layer of pudding, which is going to be the first layer that you actually going to put on top of your bananas and your cookies, it has to be much thicker than the first where we laid down, of course. So I'm going to show you guys and tell you guys how to put your pudding down on top of your bananas and your cookies. If you need to take the tip of your cake spreader to even in the spread your pudding out, please do that like you see me doing in this video. And what I do is I start on one side and I put a nice amount of pudding down and just work it all around. And then once I get done with that one side, I move on to the other side and do the same thing that you see me doing right here in this video, honey, okay? So your girl gonna show you how to get it. Now it's time for us to lay down our second row of bananas and cookies. And y'all, I'm going to tell you the way that I do it. If you remember when I did my first row, I put down bananas. So in the same spot where I have bananas, I'm going to lay cookies instead. That way, if anyone takes a dip into my banana pudding, they should get cookies and bananas all together, okay? You don't want to put cookies on top of cookies and bananas on top of bananas. And then when people trying to dip off in your pudding, they getting a whole bunch of bananas and no cookies, or a whole bunch of cookies and no bananas. So that's the way that I lay mine down, and I'm going to go ahead and take my pudding and even it out on our last row of bananas and cookies, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how I finish it off. Now for my last, or not my last, but on top of my pudding, the only thing I lay down is cookies. I lay down nothing but cookies, and also when I'm finished laying down my cookies, I'll take a couple of wafers in my hand and I'll crunch them up real good and I'll sprinkle them over the cookies, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that as well. So y'all just keep watching, okay? Now that I'm fully complete, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and stick my banana pudding in the refrigerator, and I'm going to let it sit in for at least 8 hours, honey. And this is just how it looked when I was finished laying everything down. I had a lot of bananas left over, and a lot of the times when I make banana pudding, I always have a lot of bananas left over. If you have this much left over, honey, just store them to the side and eat them in the morning for breakfast. But this bad boy is ready to go in the refrigerator, and I'm going to show y'all what it looks like on the next day, okay? It's been 8 to 24 hours now since the pudding has been in the refrigerator. I'm going to go ahead and take it out, and we're going to see what it looks like. Now, when I tell y'all this banana pudding was so thick and cold, honey, and sweet just the way I liked it, I went ahead and got me a little spoon and dug off in a corner. And I don't have no fancy pictures or videos, honey. This is just exactly how it looked. I went ahead and I gave my stepdad half of it, and I called him on the phone the next day, and he told me, he said it sure was good, but I don't know who made it. You know I made that, honey. And this was some good banana pudding. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe and tune in with your girl for more recipes.